Good morning. I'm the Reverend Dr. Scott Jones, Senior Minister of the First Central Congregational United Church of Christ in Omaha, Nebraska. This coming Sunday is the fourth Sunday in the season of Lent, and our study from the Gospel of John around the theme of a healing spring brings us this week to John chapter 9, to the story of Jesus healing a blind man. This is where Jesus, spits in the mud and fashions it on the man's eye, and the man who is born blind can see again. And then the religious authorities and other people freak out that this guy can now see, and they ask him all sorts of questions. And in the midst of those questions from the religious authorities, the man starts standing up for himself, and he says, and the religious authorities think that Jesus has done something inappropriate, that he's a sinner, and the man says, I don't know whether he's a sinner. One thing I do know, that though I was blind, now I see. This is the source of our great hymn, Amazing Grace. Once I was blind, but now I see. And then Jesus encounters the man, and they get into a dialogue that then goes on into chapter 10. And Jesus talks about being the good shepherd and welcoming people into his fold. And that's his own interpretation of the action that he's just taken in healing this man. And all through the story, there's this intermingling of issues of healing and religious rules and doctrines, and then also what is and isn't sin and who's a sinner is a theme that appears over and over again, and then this idea of who's welcomed and included, because the man gets kicked out of the synagogue. And so interesting mix of issues here, and we're looking through this lens of healing. And so what's the connection with sin and with these other things that I have talked about? And there's a lot of ideas, bouncing around in my head, and I'm not quite sure what approach specifically to zero in on in the sermon this week. So I'd love for you to read John chapter 9 and chapter 10 and share your own thoughts and ideas. And I could use those in helping to fashion what we're going to our worship for this week. So look forward to seeing you on Sunday. And again, you'll want to see the update on the construction. The hardwood floor is being laid this week, and I'm assuming will be done by Sunday, and more of the ramp part will be built. And it's great every week kind of seeing people's reactions and responses. So I look forward to seeing you on Sunday. Have a good day.